Right. Hello, thank you so much, Alison, for joining me today on my show.
Oh,
It's a pleasure to have you on board. How are you?
thank
And
you.
how's everything there at your place?
Great. Oh, we're great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You're welcome. So, how's been the life in this pandemic in the past 4 or 5 months?
Well, it's been like the craziest roller coaster ever. I mean, who who can understand anything? Day to day is so crazy up and down. I mean, I'm very open about this. I live in a multi-generational household. I live here with my parents and my teenage daughters here in Los Angeles, and I say it all the time. I have really mad skills for dealing with life, and this has been challenging for me. I'm not someone who's supposed to stay in my house 24/7 every day for the past 4 or 5 months. So it's been challenging, and we're dealing, and everyone's healthy, and that's the thing that's most important.
Uh, do you see the graph straightening now, or it's still static over there or rising?
Um, uh, Say that one more time.
Is the corona graph static
It's
in
still
your
we're
place?
still rising. We're still rising. I mean,
It's still rising.
yeah, we haven't flattened our curve here in Los Angeles because of course we started to open up a month ago or so, and nobody wants to behave exactly the way they're supposed to, so we're paying the price here. But hopefully people will start to behave, and hopefully we'll be able to start to open up a little bit more soon.
Okay. Okay, let's just start our show. I mean,
Yeah,
like this,
great.
this is the first question that I'll be asking you is regarding the seasons that you featured in. I
Yeah,
remember
I
one.
love it. I hardly ever get to talk about being an actor, so I'm thrilled about that.
That's really fantastic. I remember one of your seasons in fashion.
Oh, yeah, my soap opera days.
Yes, exactly. So, how was the experience working on that?
Well, it was so, first of all, you dug very far back, which I love. Um,
Thanks. Yeah.
many years ago, before I had children, I got to do some work on some soap operas, The Bold and the Beautiful and
Yeah.
Passion. And, I love soap operas. I grew up on soap operas. So when I got the chance to work on them, it was like a dream come true for me. I started out on Bold and the Beautiful in a very small role, but soap operas was the closest thing to my theater training, because they move so fast and the continuous story. So I was thrilled to be a part of that. But when I got to a chance to be on Passions, that was the most exciting. And what most people don't know is I came on as one role as Nurse Joe Jordan just for a couple
Yeah.
of weeks. And then I turned around and came on as Heather Downs. And
Yeah.
Heather Downs was a surrogate mom who was chloroformed and put into a closet, and my eggs were stolen and given to another character. So I was it was quite an
Okay.
outrageous storyline, but I loved being on that. I loved being a part of that show, so it was really fun for me.
You've been on theater as well. How difficult is it on the theater as compared to on the television? Because you don't get another chance on theater.
Well, the thing with theater is my heart. That's where my
Oh,
training
that's
is. There's
brilliant.
nothing like being on a stage and having a live audience. And TV, you get another shot. You get many takes. Theater is that's your moment. It's live. You don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. That art form is everything to me, and that's where my heart lies. I grew up on the East Coast. I trained in New York, and I'll be honest with you, everything that I'm doing in my world now, if the theater world wants me to come back, I'm going, no matter what anybody says.
Okay. Okay. We don't often see you more in movies nowadays. I mean, like you've reduced the amount of your work in in this field. Uh,
Yeah,
do we shall we expect you to see? Shall we expect you again anytime
in
soon?
in film.
In
Um,
film, I remember you being in Sixth Sense
you know what?
with Bruce Willis.
I have a really great story about The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense was the first film I was like the first film I ever really did. I'm from New Jersey, and I grew up in New Jersey, really close to Philadelphia. And The Sixth Sense was cast in Philadelphia by M. Night Shyamalan. And what an amazing man. And that was one of his, he had done other films, but that was his first real breakout film that he had done. And he cast everyone, outside the stars from Philadelphia. So all the day players and all the I don't want to say, but the smaller roles came from Philadelphia. So it was a very exciting time for us local people. And I got cast in that film, which I was so excited about. Like, it was the most exciting thing. And this scene where Olivia Williams, Bruce Willis's wife, is waiting for him to come for their anniversary dinner. That was my big scene. That was my big moment, right? And I had a big scene with her. And I did my scene and I was so excited. And it was such a big moment for me as an actress. And I was a local girl that they put my mom and dad in the restaurant scene as extras so that they could watch me work. I mean, it was such a big deal. And unfortunately, in the moment, they realized that you as the audience members would know that Bruce Willis was not alive in that. So they cut my scene.
Okay.
It was horrible. It was the worst moment ever. I mean, I totally understood from a creative point of view, but it was so heartbreaking. And then to see the movie explode and become this iconic movie, but it was really exciting to be a part of it. And then to watch Knight's career explode and become this iconic horror film, movie maker. But it was really exciting. And to watch Bruce and then Toni Collette explode the way she did, I was just happy to be a part of it, to be honest.
Fine. Shall we expect to see you again on the screen? Do you have any projects in pipeline?
I don't have any projects in the pipeline. Well, that's not true. Right before Shelter and Stay. That's so funny. I'm so not used to being an actress because I have so many other things going on in a different area now. Right before Shelter in Place and before COVID-19 hit our entire world, I was fortunate enough to be cast in an Egyptian soap opera. So I guess I do have something in the pipeline internationally. It's a soap opera. A soap opera or a TV show in Egypt called Crossroads. And I got a role in that started filming here in the United States in February. And I was just about to leave for Cairo to finish my segment. And then we got Shelter in Place. So I'm still waiting to finish that. So hopefully, once the world goes back to being slightly normal, I will do that. So hopefully you'll see me there. So that's I'm not very familiar with the show, but I do know it's in Egypt.
Okay. Since you've been in Hollywood for a while and you are quite aware of the happenings in Hollywood, does nepotism exist there?
What's that?
Nepotism.
Nepotism, does it exist?
Yeah, does it exist?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm an only child, so nepotism doesn't exist for me as far as that goes. But yes, I mean, nepotism is usually thought of like as in families, but nepotism in Hollywood absolutely exists. It's not something. It's sort of like an old word that's used, but in the industry, do friends cast friends? Do relationships matter? Absolutely. Do fathers cast children? Do mothers cast children? Absolutely. Nepotism is alive and well.
Global issue, I guess. I guess it's a global issue. It's not just in the developing economies. I always thought that it's in the developing economies, but I today came to know that it's a global issue. Nepotism.
Yes, it is. I mean, but here's the thing. I don't think it's a bad thing if the person is qualified, if the person is trained, right? I think it becomes a bad thing,
He's not meeting the marriage.
Which you and I were just talking about before we went live, right? We were talking politically, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But there's nepotism here in our country, politically, where people are getting jobs that they in our political arena that they're not qualified for, right? Which is causing havoc and chaos. So,
Not just in your country, in the entire world.
well, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Let's just move on to another facet of yours.
Sure.
Uh, Most people don't know that you've primarily become a life coach now.
Hmm.
You're more focused towards life coaching rather than on acting. Acting has become sort of your primary, secondary profession.
Well, I've really switched my world into personal
Okay.
development, right?
All
So
right.
once I have children, and like they're teenagers. So about 15 years ago, once I started having children, um, I was primarily an actress. And once I had children and went to come back into the industry, it wasn't, I'm always going to be an actress. I'm always going to be creative. I have a creative mind. That's who I am. But I realized I had more to give the world. And at the time, I had two small babies that were 16 months apart. And I had a woman helping me. Um,
Okay.
and she said to me, "Do you know you're on the phone 8, 9 hours a day helping people and you're actually making a difference in their life?" And I said, "It's just something I do." And she said, "No, I think it's more than that." And we, I called her my nanny. I hate that word, but she was my nanny. And she
Okay.
said, "The kids are going to school. I think it's time that maybe we turn what you're doing into a business." I said, "I think you need more than that to go into a business." So I then went and got education and training. And she said, "I want to form this business with you." I said, "Okay, let's do it." This was about 15 years ago. And that woman was Melissa, who you've been talking to all week.
All right.
So Melissa and I formed a business and we started a firm and we started helping
That was
people.
in 2010, I remember. I just it was in 2010.
Yeah. What's that?
Okay. That you formed the firm in 2010, to be
Yes.
exact.
Yeah, that's when we opened our doors, right? So, but before that, I was training and getting my certification and learning everything I possibly could. And we've been helping people open businesses, progress in their careers, get accountability. Um, and then about 3 or 4 years ago, someone said, "You should write a book." And
Okay.
I said, "I think you need to do more than just, I'm an actor, I'm now a coach, and now I'm going to write a book." So,
And you wrote one. We'll be talking about that later in the interview.
yeah, so my thing is that I believe in supporting the creative mind, not only because I come from the creative mind, but I understand it so well. And it's something that I believe everybody has a passion and I believe everybody has a gift.
Sure.
And myself, my passion is acting. I will do it anywhere. I'll do it in a church basement. I'll do it on TV. I'll do it in a film. It's something I love to do and I'm always going to do it. But my gift is I love helping people. It's something I've always done. I just understand how to move someone emotionally from point A to point B. I know how to get somebody what they want, what they need, how to make them be bigger in their life, personally and professionally.
Yeah. So what's the difference between a motivational speaker and a life coach?
What's the difference between a speaker and a life coach?
Motivational speaker and a life coach. And
Okay,
how could you treat a person simply by talking to him or her?
that's a great question. So, a life coach is somebody for me. Um, First of all, I have certification in life coaching, helping someone figure out what they want to do with their life. Like I said, professionally or personally. I'm also a solution focused coach. I don't let you stay stuck in a problem, right? I want to find a solution to that. I work in NLP, neuro linguistics. I do emotional intelligence. So, a life coach is somebody, not like a therapist, but someone who's going to help you with accountability, help you reach your goals. A motivational speaker, different, right? That's something I've moved into.
Okay.
That's something that really has sort of lit me on fire more. I started that about 4 years ago when the Screen Actors Guild does a summer intensive every year, and they asked me to come and speak to actors to share my thoughts about what I do, share my story. How can I inspire somebody? How can I tell what I've done to change my life, what I've done to um, get from point A to point B? Um, how come I wrote a book, right? So motivational speaking is when you, for me, is when you share your story to inspire somebody to keep going, inspire someone to make a change, inspire somebody to be a reflection that then they see that they can then do something that they never thought they could do before.
Does that mean everyone who has been experiencing failures could become a motivational speaker?
Do you think that everyone that experiences failures should become a motivational speaker?
Yeah.
No, because I don't think that motivational speakers just experience failure. I think motivational speakers are also people that experience experience extreme highs. Sports figures share motivational speaking, right? Um, Religious leaders, politicians, actors, right? That's something that can also be inspiring. It doesn't just have to be failures, it can be positive. It also doesn't have to be an extreme thing. For me, it's that I'm just a girl from New Jersey who has done her life in such a way that I think I've gone for things that I've wanted to, I've strived for things that I've wanted to do. And I've done it by all my own gumption, by all my own intelligence, by all my own hard work. And if I can do it, then guess
And
what? I'm pretty sure you can do it. So I'm just sharing the way I did it and hope that you get inspired by it.
uh,
Right.
right.
So it can be extremes or it can just be right down the middle.
Okay. You discussed about NLP, your neuro linguistic programming. How does it rewire the brain?
How does it rewire the brain?
Yeah.
Great question. So once again, because when Melissa asked me to, you know, first start off speaking one on one to people, that was what I was most comfortable with. And then once you become a motivational speaker, you're able to speak to many more, speak to groups. I was like, I want to make sure that I'm as well educated as I can be. A lot of my stuff is my own knowledge, what I'm learning, but I also like stuff that's based in science, right? I'm really just completely like I can't get enough of it, psychology, and my most is anything that deals with neuroscience. So how does the brain change? One of my things is the reticulating activating system. Have you seen anything that when I've spoken about this? Is this
No,
what
I
you're
haven't.
up?
I'm just
Oh, okay.
hearing this
I
word
was like,
for the first
wow,
time.
I thought maybe you've done your research because I was like, okay,
Um,
this is
I'm like,
something that I love talking about. So, all right. So this is something I wish, motivational and inspirational and positive thinking. People love to just say like, be positive, talk positive. And sometimes people just say, okay, I'm just going to be positive. I'm good enough. I'm strong enough. I'm smart enough. Sometimes that's enough for people. But if I told you that the science behind it is that if you told yourself that there's a reason behind it. There's a thing in our brain where our brain is and our spinal cord meets. There's a little thing called the reticulating activating system. It's as big as my pinky, right? It's about 2 inches. So we get all this stimulus, all this information that comes into our brain. So how do we know what to process? Well, the brain is the most powerful computer that we have, right? It does exactly what we tell it to. So if we tell our brain we're great with money, it will go and find all the things that we're great with money about. It's the reticulating activating system. That's the filtering system for that. Now, if we tell our brain I'm bad with money, it will go find all the things that we're bad with money. So it's the RAS, right? So an example of that is if you go buy a new car, right? And you drive it off the lot and you're driving it down the road and all of a sudden you see your new car everywhere. And you think to yourself, did I just make the best choice ever or did I just make the worst choice ever because I'm seeing my car everywhere?
So,
No, it's because you've been feeding your brain that you've been looking at this car, you've been researching this car. So your brain is filtering out all the other cars to only see that car. So, yes, that is why it's so important that we feed ourselves positive, um, good information. It's just not hocus pocus science, magic, so to speak. It's based in science. The brain will go search what we're looking for.
uh, you're simply reminding me of a book named Secret. I mean, like
Yes,
it's the law of attraction.
the law of attraction.
Uh,
Yes.
I'm I'm really confused. Does it really works? Does it really works? The law of attraction?
Does it really work?
Yeah.
I don't. The law of attraction. Listen, there are millions of people that love the law of attraction. I believe this: if it works for you, if it anchors you, if it gives you something to hold on to, then I absolutely say do it. And there are people that will argue against it, and I say to them, why argue against it? If it doesn't work for you, then let's find something that works for you. If it's not the way your brain is wired, if it's not the way you like to receive information, then let me find something else for you. There's probably tons and hundreds of other ways for you to receive positive information. But what I'm explaining to you is that it's scientific, right? That RAS will filter out what you're looking for. If you wake up every morning and are like, oh, it's another day. Of course I woke up late. Of course it's raining. If you say negative things, the brain will go search the other negative things for you. I'm just asking, meet me halfway, make it neutral, right? Just make it neutral, right? My children hate when I do this, but I always say to them, you got to stay positive. It's how you talk to yourself. One of my
Isn't
favorite
it
books.
difficult to stay positive in an adverse situation? Most of the countries these days are going through economic chaos, and not just economic, the social chaos as well. How could you be positive in these circumstances?
I listen. There are certain facts that are happening. Like if you're in economic chaos, right? That's a fact, and that's very hard to just. That's great. All right, great, Allison. I'm just going to be positive and hope that my bank account fills up, right?
That's
But
not going to happen.
that's not going to happen. That's correct, and that's where, you know, I get it. Sometimes that's where the secret gets a little shaky for people, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, we have to start neutral. Let's try to be positive. But when we look at the facts of, okay, here's my bank account, it's not the greatest, but what's my situation? How am I bringing in income? What is my job situation? Maybe I don't have a job. Okay, so how do I change my scenario to get a better job? Or what is the outcome? How do I plan and create some goals and then take steps to change that? But just having a negative attitude, I can promise you this, just having a negative attitude is not going to change any of this. So it's kind of multi-stepped. You have to help yourself by having at least a neutral to positive attitude. Then we start with a game plan, with a plan that has
Okay.
goals, that has dates and steps to take so that we can start changing the facts, right? But having a negative attitude, I promise you how it's all going to turn out if you have
Um,
that to start with.
I guess in a nutshell, you mean prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I mean, that's what we should.
You
Okay.
sound like my father. That's exactly what my father taught me.
Yeah. Now let's just, it says today is 25th of July,
Yeah.
and was the day your book Enoughness was released.
That's
Uh,
correct. It's our year
yeah,
anniversary.
yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank
And
you.
let's just do something about your book.
Something about my book.
Yeah,
Well,
what does enoughness means for you?
enoughness means to me. Enoughness means that if you have gratitude for what you have right now, no matter what that is, then that would be enoughness, right? If you start with what you have today, then that's enoughness. And I think so many times we um, want something more. I'm not saying you shouldn't want more, of course, but so many times we want more. We want to lose weight. We want a bigger bank account. We want a better job. We want to be thinner. We want, instead of just being present right now and being grateful for what we have right now
I
makes what
mean,
we
doesn't it
have.
mean just to pacify yourself? I mean, like in whatever conditions you are, that simply means to pacify yourself.
I don't think it's pacifying yourself. I think it's saying, hey, I'm enough right now. I definitely want more, but where I am right now is enough. And now I'm going to go. Now I'm going to go create more. Now I'm going to go strive for more. Now I want to thrive for more instead of being less than, instead of starting from less than, right? Or instead of I'm broken or I'm flawed from a flawed place. No, I'm starting from I'm great. I'm enough. Now let's go. I want you to
Uh,
start from a full place, not a less than, right? I want you to be enough. I want you to be enough. Um,
uh,
and one of the things I'm most proud a year later, I can be honest with you, is that when the book came out a year ago, I was terrified. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm making all of my friends and family buy this book. And I made them pre order it on Amazon. And I thought in 6 months, it's going to be everyone's like doorstop or it's going to be behind their bookshelf. And I'm just, what am I doing being a writer? I did not, honestly, a year ago, didn't come from a place of enoughness on this day because I was scared. Um, and it was so received so well from my friends and family. And then as it started to build, I got such a great reward, and my enoughness grew incredibly when Forbes tapped it
yeah,
as the top
well,
7 books to help yourself in October. And listen, I'm going to eat my own words, and I will never not feel like enough because of that. And then, if that wasn't enough, in January, Forbes tapped it again as the top 10 books to help yourself at work. So, um, the book that I wrote to help other people a year ago has helped me more than I could ever imagine. So I'm very happy and feel very blessed with that.
that's wonderful. Don't you think it was a risk that you took because people don't like buying a book these days? Instead, they prefer to go digital.
Well, yeah, it was a big it was a big risk. Not only a big risk of having a book with my face on it and all that. So what we have done, which I will offer to anyone that's watching this with us today, is I do offer my book digitally free.
Oh,
So
thank God. That's wonderful.
yeah, so if you go to my
I'll definitely
website,
get you on
if you
board
go to my
again once
website,
I'll be
you can
done
get a
reading your
copy
book.
of my book. Yeah. So and it's fun to read. But if you buy the book, I can then sign it.
Oh, that's
but
wonderful.
but you can get a free digital copy of it if you go to my
That's
website.
very, that's very
Yeah.
nice. Okay, what are the things in the pipeline right now? What are the next projects that you've scheduled?
Okay, so next Friday, I am doing a virtual national speaking gig here in the United States. And I'm speaking to a surgeon, a nurse, and someone from the CDC about COVID-19. So that's next Friday. I'm writing my second book, which hopefully won't take as long to write as the first book. Um, and um, I have, you know, hopefully I'll be going to Egypt in the next 6 months if everyone can comply and we're. And my business partner Melissa and I, we just are coming up with so many more programs and stuff to help people. We've always got something going on, so that's what's happening.
Okay. Do you have any message for your viewers before we conclude this interview?
Say that.
Any message for the viewers before we conclude the interview?
I do. I think this is the time for everyone to remember that where we are going in the next 6 months, possibilities are endless. That if you're a creative or entrepreneurial mind and you have an idea for something, now is the time to let it grow. If you have a script, write it. If you have a song, absolutely sing it. If you have a business idea, write the business plan. We have no idea how the world is going to expand. I know it seems like the world is shutting down. I know it feels like the world is completely coming unhinged, but I have a feeling that the world is about to change and open up in a really beautiful way. And it is not too late to start something. And that is my hope for everybody.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Alison.
Thank you.
It was really an enlightening session, and it was an extreme pleasure talking to such a bold and beautiful person like you.
Oh, thank you.
Wishing you all the best for the future years.
Thank
Take
you
care.
for having me.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good.
Bye.